reloj. Mientras no exista átomo de oxígeno que nos lleve el eco de tu voz, estamos bien. Porque tú me gustas más que la miel, estamos bien. Porque tú me gustas más que la miel, estamos bien. Porque tú me gustas más que la miel, estamos bien. Porque tú me gustas más que la miel.
Hello.
Estamos bien.
Hello.
Tú me gustas más que la miel, estamos bien. Porque tú me gustas más que
You see me?
estamos bien.
I know.
Porque tú
There.
me gustas más que la miel, estamos.
Okay, let's just give another minute for everyone to join us and we can start. Well, we can start already. So, hi everyone. My name is Joy. I am from the partnerships team here at SGM, and I want to welcome everyone to the Social Gastronomy Movement Food Solidarity Gathering. This week long event series is our way to create a space for our communities to connect, to share, and to collaborate across countries, sectors, and also topics surrounding food solidarity. We are super honored to have so many amazing individuals and organizations contributing not only to this week of sessions, but also to all those working to create a more just and equitable food system. So, before I introduce our host, I would just like to let everyone know that we will have a short poll at the end of this session. And also, in order for us to share this content with our community and take this as further as we can, we will also be recording this entire session. So, with that, I'm super excited to introduce today's host, Bibi Laluz Gonzalez. Bibi will be guiding us through this food system collaborative story for creative minds and share her knowledge with us. Bibi is one of the, actually, Eat Better Week is one of the Food Solidarity Fund recipients, and we are so lucky to have you, Bibi. You are for sure the most active participant. You are always on the events, and we are really grateful to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Joy. Oh, I when I heard about the food solidarity grant, when I was just filled with joy, and it was Joy who was sending an email, I was like, this is just perfect. All right, so I'll be sharing my screen. I thank you so much, all of you, to join. All right. All right, perfect. So welcome to the Food System Collaborative Story for Creative Minds. This will be a very and highly interactive session where we're not just going to listen of what the other person is saying, but we're going to add up on what that person was saying. So we will start off as imagining as if we are in a camp and we have a bonfire. And through this way, well, let's just say it's a controlled bonfire and it's virtual, so it's not causing any sort of environmental degradation or potential fire. So please be careful with that. Do not try it at home, just make it virtual. So we're definitely going to co-create and co-author stories in an extremely yet meaningful dialogue to learn, listen, and take everyone into consideration respecting us, and working towards a common goal regarding food. So welcome to the food story we want and work to achieve. All right, so this is how the session is going to flow. Preparing for this session, I made a video, and I just would like for you guys to do so as well. So I invite you all to please close your eyes. To close your eyes and imagine you're some way far from the computer. It's nighttime. You hear the branches, the trees, the wind, some birds. And you have this warmth in front of you, which is the fire. And you're surrounded by people, back then when you didn't necessarily have to wear a mask. And you're just there in harmony. And now you open your eyes and you take a look at everyone who's here. And in that very, very calm state of mind, we start by just telling stories. Just telling stories. And it would be awesome as well if you have something warm or cold, however you like, for you to accompany this session. So it's open for all ages, from children to very, very senior adults. And if you want more people to join, please ask them to register and have the link. So what we will be doing is the session. We are going to ask you to rename yourselves according to these steps. The session is formally in English, but if you prefer to have it in Spanish, please rename yourself inputting N in English or S in Spanish at the beginning, so we can understand better the flow. And if there is sufficient quorum, we will open a second group for the Spanish-speaking individuals here. So you change your name and then you choose your food sector. And whether if you're a farmer, you put 1, 2, business, corporate, and logistics and intermediary, gastronomy, and if you're none of the others, just put 10 as other. If we're in just one group, we will have our amazing SGM and YA volunteers help us out to write the stories that we're going to be telling in a shared document. Or if you want to participate as well, if you want to be the secretary, please go ahead and raise your hand. And basically, we're going to regroup then these stories and for them to be published as the story that was created within the SGM gathering of where we want to go and how we're going to achieve it on our food goals. Understanding different types of disparities within food. And please keep in mind how your stories can also merge the basic principles that we have in Eat Better YE, which is that we merge food security, climate sustainability, and human rights. And we have a fire starter introduction to the story. That is, if you'd like. This is always a suggestion, opt-in or opt-out, or you can have a better one. So as well as that nature scene, you imagine basically that the wind is blowing and suddenly my hands and clothes are filled with seeds. And then you follow up on that. And then, for example, the person next to you tells the story, and then you accumulate until we have an end story, taking into consideration the food sector that you're part of. Or then you have another scenario, if you're another group, when I think about food, I think of, and then we follow through. So the length of this can be very short, but it can also be lengthy if you have these very creative storytelling. And so yeah, so I'll stop sharing my screen. And all right, so if you're okay with putting your video, so let's see. All right, so no one, okay, some people already changed their names. Awesome. So I think that everyone here is English. Is okay with English? I have to say, I'm really happy to see family members, global shapers, SGM group. Oh, this is so great. Thank you so much for being here. All right. So everyone's English. Who wants to start, or how, or maybe someone would like to say something before that to see that this is a trusted and lovely environment for us to be here.
Bibi, that was a lovely introduction.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so should we get started with a little bit of once upon a time there was a little girl who something, and then the story will continue and so on. Is that it?
Yeah, so we're going to start with let's see. First, let's see how many people have changed their names. So we're going to start in the order that you've designed yourself in the food world that you're gonna be. So let's see, I'll change mine. So I'm English 9 Bibi. So we're gonna start with a lower, oh my God, so many 9s and 6s. All right, let's see. We're gonna start then with the scene A. The wind was blowing and suddenly my hands and clothes were filled with seeds. And let's see who has the lowest one. So I'm going to give it to, all right, so first, do we have everyone who's writing down the stories? We have that? Super. All right. All right, so I am going to give it to follow this introductory story to Tim, since you have the number 5, which is one of the lowest here.
So the wind was blowing, my hands and pockets were full of seeds, and I began collecting them into a bag.
Okay. Do you wanna extend it a bit more?
Well, let me do that when it comes around again, and I get more of a sense of how we're doing this.
All right, all right. All right, so let's follow up with Liz, number 6.
And as I started collecting them into a bag, I was thinking about what I could use them for. Could I use them for maybe making an arts project? Maybe should I try them? What if they don't taste good? Or what if I don't know what they're of? What else could we use seeds for? Next person on the screen.
Awesome, Liz. Let's go with Olga.
I took just one grain in my hands and I was wondering if they were edible, and if yes, if they were poisonous. And I was wondering how much time would it take for a plant to grow out of this one seed.
All right, let's go with Alejandra.
I decided to take some seeds and roast them for a delicious granola that I'm having tomorrow morning.
All right, Heidi.
Okay, in the morning, I woke up and I decided to start wondering, how can I actually make granola bars? That's the recipe.
Wow. I will then jump to Isha to tell us how.
Oh, so I had to call my best friend because she makes the best granolas. So I called her and I told her I found this amazing seeds and I want to try her granola, her secret granola recipe.
Let's go with Audrey.
And then when I was calling my best friend, she gave me her secret recipe, but and yeah.
All right. Let's go with Nikki.
So with that secret recipe, I decided not to just make granola for myself, but for my whole community. And so I started inviting friends to prepare the granola with me.
Wow. Maya?
It was such a great time. We laughed together. We sat around in the kitchen, or we stood around in the kitchen, getting to work. And we started to think together, what else do we have that we can use to cook for ourselves and for our community?
Janet.
So we went outside to the garden that we planted a couple months back and picked some herbs and vegetables and things that we had. And we actually started talking about how we can create a bigger garden and create a community garden that then would help us feed more people in the community and make this communal space for everyone to come and get more seeds.
All right. Pamela.
I think she's trying to unmute herself. If someone from SGM could help her, I guess.
All right. Pamela, can you unmute yourself or no? Ah,
there we go.
Sorry. Lo puedo decir en español y tú me traducís. Es que me cuesta un poco. Después tratamos de ver qué hacíamos con la comunidad.
Afterwards, we tried to see what we could do with the community.
Y qué podíamos hacer de especial con la granola.
And what we could do something special with the granola. All right, so we have Luis.
Hey. So we thought of raising the seeds and making the city greener and using it to lighten up the streets.
All right, Vicky, Imendia. All right, let's go with Alex Vitorino. Or with Jorge Luis to continue telling the story about what we could do with the seeds within it's a community garden or greening the city.
let me think about it. Sorry for being late. Good morning to everyone. Maybe we can make a project for children so they can learn with those seeds the beauty of raising our own food. Yeah, maybe something like that with those seeds.
All right, Joy?
Well, while we were thinking of how to make children benefit from that, we actually stopped to think of how we are made out of seeds and how many seeds we plant throughout our lives. So we just realized this impact that this whole community and friendship could have where we are located. So we started thinking of the seeds that we leave throughout our lives.
Super. And Maya?
And then we decided that we weren't going to stop and we were going to bring this idea of planting seeds around the world to every country, every person. And the way we would do that is by making more friends from around the world and getting in touch.
All right. Zaya?
And while we were all thinking together outside in the garden, my little silly brother, who apparently stole some of the seeds that we were supposed to prepare for granola, took them out of the pocket. and suddenly it started to rain so hard, and the wind was blowing so that it blew all the seeds away.
And what happened with the blown seeds, Tim?
By a few more months, many plants started growing that we hadn't seen before. And everyone became excited to watch and protect the plants so that we could discover as they matured what kind of plants they were and what they could do for us. And the whole community watched and guarded and took care of those plants month after month.
I'm gonna chip in there and say the seeds were actually native seeds that are used for medicine. And here we learned that there weren't necessarily just bushes, but they did have health properties that could help us out. And then there were just basically, no, I'm not gonna say that word. And then they were just here with the power of wind, with the power of soil, and our collaborative way of keeping nature within us and not just destroying it. Afterwards, I took some and I had these major allergies. Then by taking these seeds that were just out there, the allergies went away slowly, and my health got better. And I started introducing that into the foods that I'm preparing, and for not just for the flavor, but for the health properties. Who wants to go next?
Well, I'll jump back in. And so we started looking for some of the very old people in the community that had seen these seeds before and understood what they could be used for. And people started writing that down while we could still capture that information.
The floor is open for whoever wants to go.
I can jump in. So then we started realizing how valuable the connection is between our elders and our youth. So out of a sudden, the community started sitting around the fire and telling stories from back then.
Loved it. Who else?
the project grew and it started to host groups of kids coming from other parts of the city where there are no city gardens. And to our shock, we discovered that some kids were really surprised with the plants. And they were especially surprised with growth because they had only dealt with toys and electronics and basically dead objects. So it was amazing for them to come every month and see that each plant was larger than last time, and to discover that food is actually grown and not just sort of made and magically appears in the supermarket.
So then we discovered that some of the seeds were magic seeds. And the magic seeds that some of those kids were able to get were able to provide wishes. And so some of the kids had some wishes that they were able to make with these seeds.
Not only cooking, but the kids also started to enjoy more the spaces on the cities. So all of this knowledge that was being transmitted from the elderly to the kids were also printed all around the town with their drawings and their paintings, so everyone could use and benefit from that knowledge.
And with that knowledge, they could make wishes that were especially important for the future of society. The first wish, coming from a little boy named George, was to build a world where all people, no matter where they're from or what they look like, can have access to these magic seeds that grant them wishes, keep them full, and allow them to create a beautiful community garden where everybody can gather and enjoy each other's company.
So George arrived in 2030 because he had created the reality he wanted to have created of all these community gardens around. And now George is sitting around the fire and telling his story to the kids, how he got there.
Audrey, do you want to pitch in? Audrey? Do you have that kid's perspective? All right, maybe she'll come back later. All right, let's keep on flowing. Let's keep on flowing. Naturally, who wants to go next then?
Well, actually, Audrey and George were discussing because they also thought that all the kids should have access to that. And they actually discovered that food can be a language as well. It's the only place that we don't need translation, that everyone can benefit in the same way and just enjoy the happiness that comes from it.
And actually, another kid joined them. Her name was Kathy. And Kathy, you know, George and Audrey, they were speaking the same language. And then Kathy came in and she spoke French, and they weren't getting it. But then Kathy took one of the seats with her, and all of a sudden they were starting to understand themselves, and they were speaking the same language because of these magic seeds.
So, oh, go ahead, Nikki, if you want to.
No, I wanted to have that magic little girl called Pamela that spoke Spanish. And with a magic seed, everyone would understand. I think we have a mute problem again.
Pamela, do you want to go?
Sorry.
Yo traduzco.
Ok, perdón. So, todos empezaron a comunicarse y
Everyone started to communicate.
y ya que vieron que las semillas eran mágicas, quisieron compartirlas con otros niños para saber comunicarse bien.
Since they saw that the magic seeds were actually magic, they wanted to share it with more kids or more people in order to communicate.
So they were spreading magic all over the world, and communities, they were getting happier and happier, greener and greener, and they were all so excited because now they can communicate through the language of food.
A language which maybe can be related to healthy food, not processed food, natural ingredients, less sugar, less salt, less fat. And that was the message. Keep your health.
And keep your health beyond just the physical health, but your mind, body, and soul. Because as we've been sharing, food speaks to all of our senses and all parts of us.
So then these kids, 10 years later, one of them opened a restaurant, one of them opened a yoga studio, and the other one did not know what they should do.
Go ahead, Maya.
But he thought back to when he was 10 years ago, when he was just a little kid, and he remembered that feeling he had when they discovered the power of these seeds. So
he remembered that the seeds were discovered because someone was just laying down on a meadow and there was just some wind around and these seeds sort of appeared and that person started to collect them. So he decided to look for some inspiration in nature, and he went for a long walk in nature, in a forest.
In the forest, he discovered so many more surprises once he started looking up and down. On the floor, these funny looking mushrooms. On top, these funny looking leaves, but all of them were so appealing. So he started collecting whatever he could find.
Magic mushrooms, perhaps? But the magic mushrooms that bring in people in a sense of awareness of where they're at, where the use that the mushrooms have. Do they have those nutritional properties, or do they really make you travel in a world where you respect people that own the land? You respect the trees that are there, not logging, but instead of maybe perhaps hugging them. Is it that so weird to have? Is it that so unrealistic? Do we need a mushroom to get there, or can we do so respecting the indigenous communities, respecting what we have and our natural resources?
What they discovered is that some people did need the help of the magic mushrooms to get to a place of respect for nature and what was around them. But others, they had it inherently. And when the two came together, they were stronger and more impactful.
All right, the last round.
So, stronger together, they got back to the bonfire and there was a little girl called Joy. And we all found out that it was her birthday. So everyone around the bonfires, around the globe, started singing, "Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joy.
Happy birthday to you.
And so the little girl got a wish from the magic mushrooms and the magic seeds that would change the course of the world. What was that wish?
That no one would need any magic seed or magic mushroom in order to see how much we can give to each other and how far we can go if we are together. Thank you. I'm crying.
Amazing. That was truly fantastic. How did you guys and girls feel?
So inspired. Oh my God, this was crazy. It was so good. Thank you.
Lovely story, great outcome. Everybody, contributed, and wonderful, great initiative.
And thank you, Bibi, for hosting. We'll need more campfires now that we're all locked in at home.
Yes, please maintain the virtual part. And I'm just loving to see everyone here. Their scenarios, their looks, how they're at. Thank you so much for this. So thankfully we have it all recorded because I think thank you to Jen or Joy, my the ones that were writing this down. So if you're okay with us putting you as a co-author of this story, if you're okay, don't say anything. But if you don't agree, please write down "I don't agree," and we will be publishing this. Let's see, in SGM in Waik, as well as the story. Are you happy with the result of the story, or would you have envisioned a different ending?
I think that as readers, and especially if someone is a storyteller, we are used to sort of a dramatic structure, heroes, villains, things like that, but real life is spontaneous, just like this story. So there is a beginning, but clearly there was something before the beginning. There is no really middle and ending, and we could go on infinitely and just add new characters, events, ideas, topics, mixed genres. So yeah, it's very freehand style.
And we also have a dog. We have animals as well. Nikki, what's your dog's name?
This is Simba, and he's been terrorizing me. I'm babysitting today. Hi, everyone. He says, "Hi, everyone. I'm hungry."
Are you hungry for some Simba?
Simba, look.
So cute.
Awesome. So anyone has so we have the poll here. Thank you so much for filling it in.
Yes, if everyone can fill out, I'm sure this will be amazing outcomes from these sessions. We will be so happy to share this with everyone. And thank you so much, Bibi, for not only sharing your knowledge, but also your light with us. Your name also makes a lot of sense because you are a beacon of light and hope for everyone. So thank you so much. And if you guys enjoyed this session, please take a look at our website. You can get involved in our community. You can find out more about the organizations in our network. And we'll also have a celebratory session on Friday now to celebrate all of this week, close all of these events, and also celebrate the work that Eat Better Week has been doing for the world, actually. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I will be sharing my screen again, so you guys can follow up. And I'm just loving the geographical where everyone's here. It's across the globe, so this is really international. Let's see what I'm sharing. What am I sharing? Am I sharing? I don't know what I'm sharing. Wait.
Yes.
Let's see. All right. So thank you so much for your time. We have your full names here, but if not, if you please, if you want to write them down on the chat, so we know who's here, and please follow us on with Eat Better Waik, my organization with Waik GT, and of course the organizers of the entire SGM gathering, Social Gastronomy. So we really are looking forward on publishing this story and hope to keep it going for next. And join the community. Here you have that global perspective, and thank you to the partners. So yes, there we have it. Thank you so much for joining. 44 minutes. Awesome. And
do you guys all want to turn on your camera so we can take a picture? Because I think this was like a very happy and very amazing session. Bibi, I'll let you finish, but I just want to take a screenshot.
Let's take a picture.
Let's do it. How do I do it?
Louis, that's you too. There you go.
Louis, Vicky, Alex, if you guys want.
There you go.
Yay!
One more.
Woohoo! Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. And well, since we already had all of this moment, let's never forget that these connections are so amazing. So please talk to each other, look out on Instagram, wherever you can find us, just so we can make these connections and take them further.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Un abrazo a todos, and keep on spreading those magical moments with everyone.
Okay,
bye bye. Magical mushrooms.
Thank you.
And
bye.
Bibi, rule. All right.
Oh, it's still recording.
Yes, I am recording here as well. Everyone was recording just so we can have that